We've been having a lot of trouble with geese lately. Well, I mean, we always have trouble with geese in the winter, but the pressure's been really high lately. They're kind of cool seeing them flying in their big flocks. They can be a couple thousand strong pretty easily. But when they land, they can really do a lot of damage to a crop. And we spend a lot of time in the winter chasing them off. That's kind of our only defense against them, is to get out there and chase them off. We used to do things like put a stake in the ground with a garbage bag on it, trying to scare them off, like all over the field, a bunch of them. But I think they're pretty smart, and they've gotten pretty resilient against those tactics. And so what we thought we'd try this year is to make some realistic looking scarecrows, or I guess I should call them scare geese, and put some clothes on them and place them out in the field, and then at times go out and move them. And we've heard that works pretty good, actually. They can identify the human shape, and then they're more likely to stay out of the field. They'll land in our wheat fields and mow them down. I mean, you can have a wheat field like a foot tall. Next morning you can come out and it's just mowed down really low. And this field right here is also really critical right now. This is a sugar beet field that we just transplanted a couple weeks ago, and they love the sugar beets. They'll land and they'll pull the whole plug out of the ground and leave it, and it'll die. So we have to watch this one really closely too. But yeah, I'm going to try to build some wireframe scarecrows and put some clothes on them, and then bring them out here in the field and set them up and keep my fingers crossed they work. Got some 3/8 round bar here, cold rolled. The cold rolled is a lot stiffer. The hot rolled bends easier, which is like a good thing and a bad thing. It's easier for making it, but it's bad when it's out in the field because it doesn't hold up quite as well. So I just stick with the cold rolled and just use a little more muscle to get it bent like I want. And I drew a line on the table here. It's going to be the shape of the sides. I just kind of stood and measured some of the dimensions of me, and then I think I'll make it a little bit taller. So this is the part that sticks into the ground. This is the leg, and that'll be the waist and the arm up there. So I'm gonna cut some of these to length and then bend a bunch of them to fit that shape. I don't worry about being too accurate with this stuff. This isn't that important. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's just got to hold some clothes and look human shape, I think. So I just try to throw it together as quick as I can, but still get the shape I want. Now I'm just going to lay them on my shape and try to get them as close as I can. That's pretty close. The hard part is keeping the bends flat, not bending them at an angle. so it still sits down flat on the table after you get the second bend. But again, it's not going to be perfect. That's pretty good. Okay, one down. Just gonna build some matching sets now. Got them all bent. And also cut some 4-inch spacers. So now I'm gonna weld the top and the bottom together. I'm just gonna weld the spacer on to the bottom part and try to get it as straight as I can up and down. Just tack it and then put the top one on it, and hopefully it'll match up pretty close. There's one side down. This is so different than how I usually work. Usually I measure really carefully and try to get everything perfect and know exactly what I'm doing beforehand. This is kind of just wing it and get it done. It's probably good for me to do a project where I don't have to be so precise. Gets me out of my comfort zone. I'm cutting some spacers now that will go between both sides, kind of the waist of the Scarecrow. This one's got a bad hip. Okay, now that I got it all built, I'll come back in and weld all the pieces solid. They're just kind of tacked right now. Got a couple pieces of pipe here, cut into little strips, and then that's going to be the head. Hold up a hat, and then these are the pieces that will hold it up a little ways from the body. The last thing I wanted to do is to weld some angle on the bottom down here, and then I can step on it and push the feet into the ground. Like somewhere around there. We can get some pretty good winds in the winter, and so I thought it'd be good to have the feet go quite a ways into the ground. Make sure these things stay upright. Okay, let's get these guys dressed. My dad had some old clothes that he's getting rid of, and we're using them on these. Not quite as easy as putting my own jeans on in the morning. Hey, Drake. First time I made some of these, I bent the arms before putting the shirt on. And I quickly learned that wasn't gonna work because there's no way to get the shirt on. Kind of reminded me of when I was a little kid, my mom used to say, "Arms up," when she's gonna put the shirt on me. Using up some of my dress shirts I haven't worn in 10 years. Kinda nice. I think this guy's gonna be showing a little midriff. Got some hats to put on them, and I'll hold them on with some zip ties. I'll loop it around the ring on the top. Cool. Yeah, I think those look pretty good. Hopefully scare away some geese. I think especially if I go out there and move them every now and then, it should work pretty good. I'm gonna go try to crank out some more tonight, and then hopefully tomorrow we'll be able to take them out to the field and put them to work. Come on, Drake. Yeah, I think that'll work pretty good. Just gotta go put the rest out now and I'll be done. Pretty cheap labor. Thanks for watching.